Alright, we're all in Warframes.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to imagine this is Garuda just T-posing.
Basically.
Is there like a is there just like a T-posing like emoji?
There might be.
And there's this one that people kind of use as T-posing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
See, where's that one at? I think I got it.
God damn, she moving them hips nice.
I like how
Oh, yeah.
I keep getting out of frame to just fucking sit down for some reason.
She's checking the ground because she's a cowboy. Oh, I did it again.
Wait, what happened? Oh,
Whoa, what happened?
oh, I'm in my. Oh no, I'm in my child form.
Okay, hit both bumpers again.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
What'd you do?
It's not letting me out. It's not letting me go back in.
Okay, well, get the shots before this all falls apart.
For those who are wondering, this is how normally our setups go. Yeah, I've been recording for like the whole minute.
Hell yeah, brother.
Here I am.
Doing
So-
everything I can.
Welcome to episode 102.
Hell yeah, brother.
Of
Hi.
Y.A.R.P.
Sorry, I didn't know you guys were recording.
Hi, Sarah.
Well, this is gonna be awkward, Sarah, if you didn't watch what we just watched, because we just watched the first 3 episodes of season 2 of Invincible. As you can see
okay.
from our very autistically colored Warframes, we are ready
She
to.
can't see it at all.
Well, she can figure it out later, I guess. But yeah, we're the boys who like to make noise. Yeah, we've got everybody together. Yeah, sorry if you want to go back and check your stuff, you can now. But
Get him out of
Yeah.
here.
get
Throw him out in the
Get
cold. Don't give him his jacket.
Get the fuck out of my.
Oh no, I
orbiter.
think my game might be fucked because it's not letting me pause.
Oh my god. Of course there would be something.
You know what's funny? On my screen, you're my operator.
Oh,
Getting out
But
of,
that's not good.
I'm
Oh.
getting out of here.
oh.
I can't.
This-
I can't deal with this chicanery anymore.
Okay, now
Game
I
bug.
can't leave my fucking. Now I
Game
can't pause the game.
bug. Game bug.
What a story, Mark. Speaking of Marks, so yeah,
Game
as we
bug.
as we figure out how to do this, there we go. Now Kaiju got his left the game. All right, so yeah,
We're real
Wyatt
professionals
we're
here.
real professionals here. We're gonna save the fucking
They did
universe.
rehearsal and everything.
Yep, we all dressed up. Okay, so we watched the first 2 episodes of Invincible, and yeah,
The first 3 to be
um,
exact.
that's what I said.
You said first few.
First 3. I said 3.
Well, few
Motherfucker.
could also
You
be
watched
three.
Invincible.
We watched Invincible. It was a TV show. We all enjoyed the first season, even though it had its issues, and as you can clearly see from our previous episodes, they do exist. They are there. But we decided to check out Invincible season 2 because me and Slur really enjoyed it. And so far, Wyatt, Jake, what did you think?
I'm enjoying
pretty
it
good.
quite a lot.
Pretty good. I dig it.
Let me know when you're back in,
Sucker.
Jake. By the way.
Yeah, let me just log in.
Okay. But yeah, come on. What do you think?
So
Give me
the thing the stuff I was appreciating the most was the character growth that we were
Same.
seeing from the end of season 1 to beginning of season 2. The something that like playing this in whatever order, I was the time thing was a bit odd, like, but that was just a bit of an adjustment. Is like I think it was like halfway through either episode 2 or 3, like Mark's getting into college when one of the I think it was the first episode of season 1, not season 1 of season 2 was graduation. So we fast forwarded a few months.
Well, yeah, we trimmed the fat. It doesn't have to go literally like week by week chronological order. You can kind
No,
of fill in
that's-
the gap.
That's true.
During those months, everything kind of ticked over exactly as it left off.
Right,
We'll pick
I
up
was
when
just a
the
bit
next
jarred
thing.
for a moment. That was more what I was saying.
And honestly, I think it's actually a smart idea to do that because it shows that Mark and Debbie still aren't over what they went through.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and start the game. Jake, you could just join from the friends, so just do that when you get logged on.
Okay. Oh, I should be almost there. Start.
And as we start, like we see that like Mark he's doing heroic things. He's saving people. He's doing his best to kind of absolve himself of his sins that he thinks he has. But it is indeed something that is still very much bothering him despite the time.
Yeah.
He's also
Yeah.
using doing heroics as a coping mechanism for like the shit he's not dealing with from.
I could
everything
not
happened.
join session
And
because the
Cecil
session
picks
is full.
Try again.
Could not join session because session is full.
Okay, so you didn't leave the game, which is strange. Anyway,
Well, I did leave the game.
I know. I'll just have to chill for a little bit while we do this. But because it sucks, we don't have Adam Eve, and as we see later, that is a problem. But it's something I feel like it deals with like he's saving people, but like you said, he's using it as a coping mechanism,
And specifically, he's doing it like sort of behind the back, essentially, because he's doing it early in the morning, and whenever anything related to the government or the Guardians show up, he's already gone.
Mm-hmm. Too much of his failure though, because Cecil has been saving it, because Cecil's on top of everything, and that's another thing I like about Cecil though, is that like when we talked about this in the last season, but Cecil is like a good version of Amanda Waller and Nick Fury. Like he still has to do the job that needs to be done.
He's what Fury in the MCU wishes he was.
Yeah. And Amanda Waller in everything, because she's also horrible in all iterations of herself.
Yeah, he's what Amanda Waller could never understand that she's supposed to be.
No, Amanda Waller in the Justice League cartoon was pretty good.
She's also shitty in that one too. Like she's like I'm talking about.
She was better than what we've gotten in more recent things.
No. I think you guys are missing the point. I'm not saying she's shitty as a character. I'm not saying she's shitty as a performance or writing. I'm saying she's a shitty person.
Yeah, character. She's a shitty person.
She's a shitty person.
And Cecil's not perfect either. Like
But
he on one hand, he recognizes that Mark is doing things that are like he's not dealing with things in a healthy way. He shouldn't be out doing hero shit. He should be like processing what the fuck happened. But at the same time, he is a fucking underhanded fucking government spook who will try to be in control at all times. And he emotionally manipulates the fuck out of Mark to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he does have like a bit of that to him, but he needs it. Like that's to do that job, you kind of need to be that guy. Fucking CIA handler type of dude.
Yeah,
But he also does actually have a soft spot for Mark.
Yes. Well, he cares about all of his people, really. Like that's the thing.
He cares about all of them, but he's got to do what's necessary for the needs of the many.
Well, and we see that at the end of season 1, where he's like, Debbie's like, I always hated you, Cecil, and he goes, yeah, I hate me too, like because he knows.
No, I would hate me too.
No,
he doesn't say I hate me too.
I'm pretty sure he says I hate me too.
Pull it up. Jake, you're the only one not doing anything. Pull it up. Jake, pull that up.
Pull up
Jake,
what
quick.
exactly?
It's not that fucking relevant. But
it's not that relevant. But anyway, the point is, he doesn't like that he has to do what he has to do, but he's also very good at it, and he does it the best.
It's what allows him to sleep at night.
I don't know about that. Well, we'll get to that later. He has issues, and they come up later. But Cecil's in a couple episodes. He's still pretty good. He doesn't want.
Walton Goggins always bringing a top performance.
Yep, everything he does is a good boy. And like it's one of those things. It's like even though you can't see his face because his voice acting, you can still see his face when he's like emoting. It's like when he's like Mark tells him, "I want to get back in." He's like, "You're not ready, Mark. You're not." Like you know what I mean? You can see like the disappointed dad face. Let's leave so I can grab Jake.
Yep.
But yeah. So what do we got? We got very depressed flying. You know him doing his thing because he's a sad boy and sad boy Slim.
Well, before that, we had the prologue, which showed us something a bit different.
We get to meet a new character.
Yeah.
Angstrom Levy. Specific. I'm gonna
Just
leave the
in
squad and
case,
invite all
yeah,
that.
disband the whole thing.
And then we get introduced to a new character, Extreme Levy, who is not having a great time in this here universe where
Yeah,
Invincible is. It's a really horrific cold open because it's effective in that it makes it seem like it's a training exercise, when in reality it's something far worse and more sinister.
yeah,
Oh,
it's an
definitely.
alternate universe where Mark joined his father.
Yeah,
And as we find out, as he pointed out later, there's a lot of them where he joined.
Yeah,
Most of
yeah,
them.
most of. I'm
so,
sorry, I'm sorry, that scene where it's just like, oh, don't worry, Eve's not dead. I just paralyzed her. I'm like,
Yeah.
what
And
the
it's like
fuck?
that's worse than fucking death. And it's like I've got some people to take care of her, so I can visit. It's like, oh my
It's like, oh,
god.
Jesus Christ.
And also the way they're just like talking about killing all those people, it's just like, oh, so we gotta kill you
Yep,
all.
let's
Yeah, we missed lunch because of
Yeah.
this.
I missed lunch because of that little riot in Berlin.
In
So let's get to Beijing.
Yeah.
And like I said, I made the funny observation because the way that scene ends, it's like, oh my god, they just ate them.
They ate. Oh no, they ate them. Oh no.
I even
How
love that. Like,
could this happen to me?
I love that even Angstrom is like, oh, we will stop you. We will. It's like, yeah, whatever. Shut the fuck up. Let's kill him. It's like, oh my god.
yeah, because they're by this point because regardless of the universe, no one's heard this like hundreds of times already. So it's like you just shut up already.
And because in this universe, Mark was don't do that one. Because Mark was what do you call it? Properly like fell in line. He wasn't that hesitation for this Omni Man, so this Omni Man kind of, you know, stayed true to his Viltrumite nature,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which is not good for that universe. But
No, it
as
is
we
not.
see, that Angstrom Levy from that universe gets dragged in by the Angstrom Levy of our universe, and we get the return of another. I say I think I love every character, but yeah, Mauler twins dealing with their disgruntled security guard that they beat up on the way out from their first prison break, as they are being
I
roped
do
out of
like it
prison
when
yet
like
again.
background characters get like continuity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
even Doland or
Good.
Donald.
Donald, Doland,
Even
So
Donald.
even
No.
Dolan,
Who the
even
fuck?
Denali.
Even Doland.
no, sorry
Even
that
Dolan.
that was Last Witch Hunter because that was the name of the job of Michael Caine. I am the 36th Doland.
Oh, God.
The fact that you remembered that.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of bad movies. It's what makes them entertaining.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
call
please
Last
so,
Witch Hunter bad. I would just say that Vin Diesel is not good in it.
But anyways, stop talking about that. Let's talk about Invincible. So yeah, we get introduced to Ingstrom Levy, who breaks out the Mauler twins. And we're like, you get like, I love that the Maulers immediately know pretty much everything about his powers too. They're like, you can't
Yeah.
teleport us in the universe, otherwise we're not walking, and you have to do specific spots because you had to go deep enough where you can break us out of jail. I mentioned this before, but I really appreciate meathead characters that are also insanely smart.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's also like they're experts in like clone crafting. Obviously, they're gonna give themselves a big old fucking buff, strong body because it's nothing but an advantage. If they gave themselves weak, nerdy science bodies every time, you'd be like, huh, these guys are not applying their powers in a very good or effective way. And that fucking kills a character for me.
Yeah.
So even every character in Invincible generally tends to use their power intelligently. And also
Yeah.
they do analysis. Like the kind of analysis we can do outside of the show, they can do inside of it. So it makes people seem like they're acting properly. They're acting to their environment.
Mhm.
So
Well-
everybody's doing the optimal thing to get what they want. It just makes all of them feel
Well, it's
Mhm.
interesting.
More
It's
grounded.
interesting that you say that, Slayer, because not everyone does it. Uses their powers intelligently, which we'll get to when we talk about episode 2. But that is something that another character has to deal with in her arc,
Yes.
because you got to think for a couple seconds to actually process what you got to do. But Angstrom Levy is a guy who can open up portals, and he opened up portals to all of his other versions of himself in other universes. And as he says, well, Wyatt, you can say this one because you said you really like this way they talk about it.
So it's how fiction tackles the multiversal question, as I like to call it. Not that many shows do it well. Even shows that its whole point is to tackle that in a way, like Rick and Morty. That's always bothered me. Like they mainly just do it to be wacky, but it's like the infinite fucking universes. Until we found out they put a wall around infinity.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I stopped. This is why I stopped watching post season 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
But with something that we also know, Multiverse of Madness also did the multiverse awfully, such as like
America is the only person in the fucking multiverse, apparently.
that has her powers, and then also
well, Angstrom Levy is also technically the only person who has that power.
which even then I actually like that.
Not just that. America Chavez is the only America Chavez in the infinite multiverse.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because we find out when you dream, you're experiencing the life of your multiversal selves, which is stupid.
Oh, I fucking hate that idea. It is so dumb.
It is it is so stupid.
And then, so we have the possibility of infinite universes, and like when America is using her powers, and also when Strange and Christina Ricci, not Christina Ricci, just Christine, that was her name.
Regina George, that's her name. Get it right.
So as they traveled a bit, but the version of the multiverse we were getting through that movie was just awful, because you had basically infinite creativity and they did nothing with it. One of the movies that did it right was Everything Everywhere All at Once, because it introduced like multiverses where basically barely anything changed, such as the universe where Evelyn learned martial arts versus when she had to learn martial arts with just her pinkies.
So getting back to Invincible, why do you think Invincible did it strongly?
Because it actually it tackled the infinity question a lot better, in the sense that there's a good number of universes where they cured cancer, where there's whole new different ideas and ways of doing things. Shakespeare's we've never even read. Just that idea of even addressing it is leagues above something like example what Marvel did. And that's why I give it props.
That's fair.
It's also using that multiverse idea to achieve a very specific, understandable objective, rather than just having it there to explain away whatever bullshit you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then also just breaking rules we already know, because we already knew about the multiverse in fucking Doctor Strange 1.
Yeah. Shit. That doesn't.
Let's keep it.
Those are different universes. No. These are different dimensions.
But
anyway,
then we talk about timelines when we steal the Infinity Stones. What do you?
Yeah. Anyway, so so Angstrom Levy, his goal is that since we just discussed that there are universes with very minute differences, but in other universes, other issues aren't issues in those universes, such as cancer, diseases, famine, all that shit. And what Angstrom wants to do is he wants to download all of the knowledge from all of the other Angstroms to basically put into one mind. And as he puts it, so you need to see the whole puzzle. You need to be able to solve it. You need to see the whole puzzle.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't just ask them.
Yeah, and the Mala twins are very good at transferring brainwaves, so that's why they're brought in. And that's why I like the Maulers too, is because they say it's we don't really do the charity thing, but there's a lot of little nuances where they kind of seem like they give a little bit more of a shit than not at all.
Well, I mean, especially after being burned by Robot.
Yeah, well, yeah, because if you remember from that scene when they transfer Robot and Rudy's dealing with having to kill his other self, one of them cries. You know what I mean? It's nuance that wouldn't be there in other shows, but they take the time to make it in this show.
Oh yeah. In another lesser show, they would just be evil through. We don't do the charity thing. We only do evil things for evil reasons. Yeah. Whereas they still want to be paid for doing this, but at the same time, they recognize that solving all the problems of our world would literally do nothing but benefit us. Also, we're going to be sent to a fucking paradise planet.
Paradise where we're gods, there's no superheroes, and there's good food.
Which I mean, yes, that's the dream right there.
Yeah, the
No,
dream.
and I like how the idea of like just threatening him again wouldn't work because there's like
yeah, they're
don't
like,
say-
come on, knock
Yeah.
this bullshit off. Like, give us something. And yeah, so the portal links to the other ones, and when the battle begins, like you actually get like a little bit where it's like he was actually using the other Maulers from the other universes. So that's why like I
But
said,
you
Maulers are
said we
fun.
were special.
You said
I thought we had was special.
And I did like no matter like the end results, like his intent.
got it.
Like talk about a path to hell being paved with good intentions. Like the whole reason he takes off the helmet later is because the Mauler, all the various Mauler twin variants are
Yeah,
about
all
to
of the
fucking
Maulers
kill
want to kill
Invincible.
Invincible, and I will not have my utopia built on blood. I really love that line.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great line.
Which
Yeah,
you would
that's
think
why
that would stop the Maulers when they see what he's doing, but it's fine. It is what it is. They were happy beating shit out of Invincible.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because at the end of the day, they do hate heroes.
They always get in the way, those pesky heroes. But yeah, and that's when unfortunately Angstrom Levy unfortunately survives and is able to download all of the memories into one. However, what Maulers were saying is that like this is a really risky thing, so make sure you don't take off that helmet, otherwise you won't remember that you're you. It's what they say before the experiment begins.
You know, you have to remember which memories are yours and which memories are like everybody else's, or you'll go insane.
Yep. And sure enough,
Yep.
he's not. He didn't cope with it well. He's like, and yeah, there's a nice little trope or a little callback or inside joke, what do you want to call it, with the title card.
Oh yeah, they all.
Oh
they
yeah,
all
throughout
say
season 1 at the beginning of the episode, it would always like, "Hey, I don't really think you're," and instead of saying the name Invincible, they would just cut to the title card, Invincible. Whereas in this, they kept like cock teasing you with it in the first
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
I
It was
really
like, wow,
love
you don't really look like you are Invincible, and then they would just carry on with the sentence until the very, very end of the episode.
another reason why I'm kind of disparaging, because we decided to do this in chunks of 3, and the last there's only 8 episodes, so the last thing will be 2 episodes, but I have a feeling we'll have plenty to talk about at the end of those. But like
Yeah.
another reason I'm kind of sad that we're doing these in chunks though is because they do a really fun thing with the title cards, but you already see it, like the whole thing in episode 1 where it's like, oh, everybody's like saying it like in tongue in cheek, and then in episode 3 when like he's like, to change the universe you must be, and it sounds like it's gonna say Invincible, but it switches to Alan the
Alan.
Alien. It's really, and like it does a special title card too for Alan. Like I really like his little intro in there too, like learning about the Yanopan like thing too. But we'll get to that. So yeah, that's episode 1. Mark and Debbie are hella depresso. Angstrom is having a bad day and a bit of a social identity
and
crisis.
hold on, we learned about this also in episode 1. Amber's no longer a cunt.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Amber. It seems that Amber is toned it down. She still got like her. It bothers me a little bit, but like I mean, it's not unrealistic because when you actually think about it. But her still being, it's like, oh, I volunteer at the thing. I'm helping out local politics. Blah blah blah. And I'm all
Yeah,
doing all
she's
this.
just so
But-
fucking perfect.
Well, no,
but
it's just like she
but-
has like her own shit going on, and
but-
that is exactly the kind of person who would want to date a hero.
yeah. And I was about to say, yeah, it's like, and people
Yeah.
do this, and even in the show, they do poke fun of it with Will going, "Can somebody please tell Amber how to have a vacation?"
Yeah. Which is just like, and then but then again, apparently Will's idea of vacation is watching terrible reality
Watching
TV
a terrible
twice.
reality
You
show
all have,
twice.
yeah,
Honestly,
they
that's
all
kind
have.
of a vibe though. Terrible.
But it's
reality
kind of,
TV
it's kind of
dancing
a
with friends.
I don't
No.
know. I feel like that's pretty fair.
That's a vibe I've never understood. Even like, like when
It's
old
just-
coworkers talk about
it's
like.
just-
Oh
the
no,
latest-
you know how I feel about truly, sincerely bad art. Same thing.
Yeah.
Shit,
There's
we
a
know how
special
Wyatt
charm to
feels about truly discussed bad art. Like,
Yeah,
same
but I
thing.
make sure like I almost like. I don't know. I've never understood watching reality television because, like, quote unquote, these people are real. I say with the biggest air quotes on the face
Yeah,
of the
but
planet.
Yeah,
it's
the
the-
fact
it's
that it's scripted kind of adds to the fun because the script is shit.
Yeah.
Well, no, and also like there is this innate human drive to just absorb drama. It's literally
Yeah.
like built
In
into
all of its
everything.
forms, like
It doesn't like and like that's what the whole point of those things are. It's like realistic drama.
It's like the
can
only
you believe-
reality
Can you
TV.
believe Cat said this? You know what I mean? Like it's shit like that.
I guess
but
like
the thing about reality
only,
TV is that it never feels real.
The only
I mean,
reality
yeah.
TV show
I mean, I'm not going to
watched
disagree
was,
with you. I'm just telling you
Yeah.
why people absorb it because. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I understand what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
so the only like reality TV show I ever watched was Pawn Stars, and I was mainly there for the history aspect. When they're like, "All right, here's what Big Hoss is doing," I'm like, I don't care. Go back to the like
I watch
historical.
Pawn Stars for its educational value.
It's on the History
Bruh.
Channel.
Unironically, no, that's
That's-
me and my
that's a
parents did
statement.
that too.
You know what
Well,
else was
well,
on the
you're
History
watching the
Channel?
History
That fucking
Channel.
aliens guy who thought that
Yeah.
like ancient
Yeah, and
people
that's what-
couldn't build shit.
Yeah, and that's
So
why I
Aliens,
stopped
it's
watching the
aliens.
History Channel, because it was like, oh, you're not here to
either
talk to me
Nazis
about
or
World
aliens.
War II or the implications of World War One. No, you're there to just say the aliens built the pyramids. All right,
Well,
I'm
they did,
done
so-
being around.
Well, they did, so you're just wrong. Anyway,
Exactly.
back to Invincible. Yeah, we see Adam Eve still dealing with her bullshit and like still living out in the middle of nowhere, and that's where they take a little post graduation celebration. Wait, this is episode
Yes.
2 now. Fuck. Fuck. It's hard not to talk about.
They all
like, crossing
they all
over,
do
you know?
blend together. It's why like
Well,
the more I
it's-
think about it, this should have been done in bursts of 2.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think that's the benefit of the show because it kind of just blends together as a really good story. Like it's still being told over the time. You know what I mean? So, and this is the episode with the Atlantis stuff, right?
The
Yeah.
Atlantis stuff and Adam Eve fixing Chicago.
She totally fixes Chicago, and there's no horrible ramifications of it later.
Exactly.
I mean, I
That's
actually
what-
do have sort of an issue with that when we get to the consequences
Yeah.
of it.
But that's the thing is that like I said, the show benefits as being like a whole story as opposed to being episodic. So it's like,
Right.
yeah, it looks like, oh look, she did a good thing, and like, yeah, fuck those mean construction workers who take all their time and all that shit. It's not like they're doing a job or anything. But then
Yeah, so I'm
yeah,
like, oh yeah, they didn't build it because it wasn't up to code and like blah blah blah. And then you build it and it's not up to code and it falls apart. It's like, oh, there's a
and
reason.
thank,
there's red
and
tape.
thank Christ
Okay.
nobody got hurt.
That
stupid
felt
bitch.
that still
Yeah.
that actually felt really weird considering what we know of Adam Eve's powers. She can rearrange
She didn't know.
atoms.
She didn't.
But
know.
okay,
Yeah,
you,
but she's
you can-
also not a contractor. She doesn't know
She
what
would-
building
she
codes
doesn't-
are.
she
just
doesn't know
does
what
it.
a
Yeah.
sink-
No,
She doesn't
I
know there was a
understand with the
sinkhole there.
building, but that
No, the building didn't fall. The building that fell over was the park.
right, it was the park
Yeah.
next door.
Yeah,
And,
but
And the
I-
reason they didn't put something there is because
I
the
would-
ground underneath it is unstable.
Yeah, when I imagine when
Yeah.
she changed the ground itself to support life and all that kind of stuff. that-
Yeah, on the
scanned for
surface.
Yeah,
She
scanned
just
for the
did what she
sinkhole.
could see.
Yeah,
Yeah, like she's
But like,
She's kinda-
there's like
she
a
was riding-
spotlight running
she's not a
under that
landscaper.
thing.
yeah. She's kind of riding her own farts after building the house or building the apartment complex, so she wanted to do something else. But she didn't. She really didn't realize that what she was doing was bad.
Also, that sinkhole is kind of it's a fault on both sides as per usual. Where it's like if
Well,
they
no,
really
it's not a fault on both sides. One side stopped people from going over there because there's a sinkhole there.
they should have explained better that was sinkhole territory, and instead of like just putting a little
They
fence.
probably-
It was.
Honestly-
It was also like. It was
honestly,
also
they
like that.
might
for
have.
They
6
probably
years.
would, but she
They
didn't
probably
even
did.
check.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they probably did.
Yeah, and like and again like that lady that says that I've been telling that's been like that for 6 years. It's like they probably
Told
did
you.
tell
You're
people.
expecting the government to be able to like
No,
answer
no.
questions
This is
in a
this-
proper manner.
This isn't the government. This is people fucking working there.
Yeah, like because again, the average person's gonna look at that lot and go, "Why don't they build anything there?" They're not gonna bother
Yeah.
looking up why.
Yeah. And the people working on the contractors won't be like, "Hey, everybody, there's a sinkhole every fucking 10 minutes." Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
doing their job. It's people not communicating and people being
But
ignorant
those
to
people
other
are
things.
contracted by the city. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about.
they're contracted by the city, but they were contracted to do that apartment building. They weren't contracted to do anything with the sinkhole. The sinkhole was
Yeah.
already marked out for six years.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we probably don't know what happened there. All we just know is there wasn't anything there until Adam Eve did something, and she fucked up
Yes.
because she used her powers recklessly. Which, in other cases, yeah, it's good. Like everything she did with her parents, like 1,000,000% great. But everything she did for the sinkhole was fucked.
Yeah, this is also one instance of it not working out because in the first season we watch her like creating irrigation lines and
Well, no, we see
Yeah.
her. We see her.
And she's doing all
and-
that in conjunction with the people who live there. But irrigation lines, you're basically just speeding up what people are already doing. You're not
Yeah.
going in and directing structures without like all the
Mhm.
pre-planning that goes into
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, she
Very
stops like
different bag, and it's a very different environment to work
exactly. I was gonna say it's in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. She like reforests an area that was being burnt down, so there's already a forest there. There's
Right.
no consequences with taking another forest there. But doing something that like people have already been trying not to do because of a specific reason, without consulting the people for that reason, that's the point of her character figuring that out. Is that she didn't ask anybody; she just built the fucking park there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's an interesting purview because
guess-
yeah, you would think that
the-
Adam would be able to do everything, but like she could fuck up too. That's the whole.
Yeah,
like,
it's interesting seeing when she can fuck up, considering like how, like her powers are borderline miracle.
it's not borderline.
Yeah, because
It
She
is.
can
It is
literally-
miracle.
She can literally turn food from air.
Yeah, that's what I was
she does
going.
in the fridge.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like in an instant of, like with the just her and her friends hanging out, she turned pine cones into beer.
Yeah, and then when Mark was like, "I'm technically on call," she's like, "I got you," and turned one of those beers into a virgin mai tai.
Yeah, like, yeah, she can.
Like,
she
she's
can essentially
literally-
perform miracles.
Yes,
He is the real Jesus.
and wait
Like,
till
she
you- and
borderline
she hasn't even got her buff. Minor spoilers. There's something that's gonna happen later.
Yeah, she
But,
hasn't. It's interesting. She's
it-
borderline a reality warper.
Yeah. But so yeah, and like she's going on her arc too, which that'll feed a lot more into the later episodes. But for now, we also get a lot of work with Debbie and her like really, like I said, I kept making a joke about it, but she's really not coping well with Nolan's departure.
Well, no, I mean, like your husband
Imagine-
of 20 years tells
yeah.
you that you're a pet, and then
Well, it's
like,
the idea of trying to
murders
hate someone and miss them and grieve their loss at the same time, but you
But you
can't.
can't
because they're
grieve their
actually
loss
really
because they're
dead.
not
It's
dead.
like it's
Yeah,
a
it's-
fucked situation.
It's why she said she wishes he was dead.
Yeah, because it'd make it
Yeah.
easier. But nothing in life is easy, and that's what I really appreciate about the show, is it gives those nuances. And it's horrible for their dynamic at the moment, but it's great for storytelling. Is that like she's not able to help Mark at all, even though Mark is also dealing with this, and she's his mother. She should be able to do this, but she can't. So she feels like she's failing as a parent as well. Like I said, it's horrible for her, and like I want her for the best of her, but it's great for storytelling because it gives that that nuance that's not really ever there for supporting characters. And that's something that I really appreciate about Invincible, is that like it feels like everybody gets a bit.
It's also what I appreciate about this season, because this season is very much, we've had the big climax of the first part of the story, and this season, like the first few episodes especially, is just literally sitting in that uncomfortable space with the characters, being like, what do we do now? How do we pick up the pieces after something like that? And how do we like try to move on? And that's the main struggle of this season. Like, even though we're only a few episodes in so far, but this part of the story is a bit of an in-betweeny section. And this is a
Yeah.
complaint I've seen some people have of it, where it feels like this whole season is just build up for the next one, which is kind of true, but that's not a bad thing.
no,
Yeah,
it's
so
The
not.
story has lulls, and what happens in the next arc is going to be built up by this one. That's good. It's part of like having an ongoing story like that.
And
Mhm.
Slayer, me and you have the benefit of knowing what happens in literally the next episode. But I would not
Well,
consider
even if I
this-
didn't, like watching a show, I appreciate the slow moments as well, because the big fucking fight at the end of season 1 only had the weight it had because we went through all of season 1 doing the character shit. We did
Yeah.
the groundwork to lay why it was so huge.
Right.
Exactly. And yeah, no, like I said, it's a very good solid start to get everybody's like things of that. And so this was a point that I wanted to talk about. So we're gonna skip around a little bit because I feel like this is a big point because we talked about this in our like little pre-recorded, pre-watching, pre-recording thing. Duplicates and Immortal.
Yeah.
So
So we talked. So for reference, for people who don't know, we were before we began actually sitting down and watching the show. The topic of Rogue and Magneto dating popped up as a discussion point, and Jake or Wyatt definitely. And I don't know if Jake had the same opinion, but it did feel. Well, Wyatt, you say what you feel about Magneto and
I think it's gross because he's an old fucking man.
Okay, so the difference maker for you there, the deciding factor is the age gap.
He's almost 80 years old. He's old enough to be her grandfather.
It's not even just the age, because when you're dealing with like superheroes and supernatural shit, it's like I'm 100 years old, but like you're literally a fucking 30-year-old guy. Like, what the fuck?
And also let's
It's
not
not
forget.
just that he's older; it's that he is like an actual old dude.
Also, let's not
Yeah.
forget in this case, Magneto has tried to kill them so many goddamn times.
Yeah, it's a little unhealthy, but it's. I mean, all superhero relationships are a bit
Yeah.
unhealthy.
They don't
But
need
the
to be.
Well, but the thing is, Slayer,
Eh,
see,
yeah, by the very
so
nature
I-
of what they are, it's inevitable.
I'd argue though that Slayer, that in the Magneto Rogue case, it is because of the actual connection they have as people that Rogue can't get from literally anyone else.
Yeah,
I feel
and
like
that's kind of the
insanely
same thing
important.
here, where
See,
once
Well, no, well-
Duplicate explained what the connection is, you get it.
yeah, I. The same time,
here's the
there's
thing,
a
the thing is
massive
you should
bump
ha-
of the fact he's tried to fucking kill them. The
I mean,
Magneto and
enemies.
Rogue situation.
That depends on how it happens as well. Like, yeah, we tried to kill each other, but then we became lovers. What the fuck? And then you just fill in the gaps, and you see the enemies to lover stories. Like, if they do that right, that doesn't necessarily like absolutely put a kibosh on the whole thing.
I have
It
not
can still
seen an
happen.
example of enemies
I
to
haven't-
lovers that actually like was good, because like some of my only known examples are something like, you know, Kylo and Rey.
Okay,
Oh.
if that's your only known examples, no wonder you think you can't.
Exactly.
Fuck.
That's you.
Honestly, like I don't know.
I mean,
any,
what?
I
I
don't
mean,
know
it's,
any, like,
what
popular
about Batman
culture.
and Selena? Isn't that literally that?
I don't like
Yeah,
their
that's
relationship
a weird
either.
one because it's
Why don't you
consistently
like the,
back
hang on,
and
hang on,
forth.
hang on. Why didn't you like the relationship?
Well, so that's actually more of a meta conversation rather than that than
Well,
them
then no,
themselves.
but like
because
no. Well, you gotta. Well, I asked you what was wrong
that's
with it though.
that's
don't
why I
care if
was
it's
that's
meta
why I
or
was
not.
that's why I was trying to clarify. It's more of a issue with comics in general, because when they were about to get married, something popped up, and then they can't get married. It's of the comic book industry constantly never like wanting the status quo to change.
Well,
That's why
do
I
that-
get, that's why I'm so sick. Like, it's why I'm sick of most comic book relationships outside of things like Green Arrow and Black Canary, because you know they actually make it work. There's no
or
tiptoeing around it.
Superman, or Superman and Lois.
No,
Yeah,
like
Superman
even
Lois
then,
is, like, one of
that's
the ones that
like
lasts forever.
that's so on and off by this point. I almost don't fucking care
I wouldn't say it's
anymore.
on and off. Like that's like other comic book runs, but for the
Aren't
most
they
part,
like literally
most-
married right now?
Yeah, for the most part, in like most stories consisting of Superman and Lois, they're
Well,
usually together in a healthy
Yeah,
relationship.
and there's
You can't like if you say it's like, oh, the comics. Well, like, there's like a billion fucking comics that tell the same story. Some of them are going to be weird, and some of them are going to be bad.
well, that, and also when it comes to a media perspective, the comics actually do Lois not as dirty as much as the movies do. The movies
yeah,
make
but
her
the-
so surface fucking
Well, see,
level.
but you're jumping. Yeah, but you're jumping around. You see what I'm saying? I told you to stick with comics, and I bring up the movies. That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. Is that like
Yeah,
there's a
'cause,
lot
like,
of
in the
different. There's a lot of different ways to interpret different stories. It's all
Because
about
like
whether
from
or
my
not they
understanding
fit.
from the comics, for the most part, aside from like like when they like if they hard reboot things, they're usually either together or just flat out married and in a good
Yeah,
relationship.
like I said, they do Lois a lot better in the comics and don't do any bullshit like they normally do with somebody like Mary Jane, for example, who just can never decide if she really wants to be with Peter or not.
I mean, Spider-Man's a bad example because Spider-Man has the most girlfriends of all fucking comic characters. So
Well, that
We're
and
getting-
it's
we're-
literally
but
and was
we're
literally
going-
status quo locked away from
we're
his
go-
fucking marriage.
we're going like literally a billion miles away from Invincible. Like
Yeah.
so,
Little-
and like the topic from like Magneto and Rogue because like that's where we started. But
Mhm.
the thing is, I feel like even though there is a disparaging age gap, I still think that the connection there. And I haven't seen X Men. Don't really care to, and I never actually watched the old show. Don't also really care to. But
I mean, if we get more Wolverine content,
from my
that's
from
fine.
my Magneto experience though, from the comics, most of the time he's not actually trying to kill the X Men. He's trying to stop them. Because
Yeah, he's trying to stop them as he tries to genocide the
because
human
if he
race.
wants, but the thing is, he respects them as mutants, even though he's trying to kill the humans. He still keeps the X Men alive, and we all know this from the comics. Magneto is busted as fuck and can kill anyone he was trying to fight. So I don't know if they handled that in the either cartoons, but I feel like if that's true in the cartoon
From
as it
what
is
I
in
have seen, it
thing.
feels very arbitrary because she was in the middle of dating Gambit, and then
Yeah,
like,
that's also what I'm saying. That's also something else. But here in Invincible, to bring it all the way back, I feel like this one handles it a lot better, even though there is the exact same age gap.
Yeah, so I wasn't bothered by the age gap between Immortal and Duplicate. I was a little her explanation.
Why not here? Why not here and why there?
So in the
'Cause
case
the
of
explanation didn't come
Immortal,
up
he
till
also
later.
still just looks like a younger man, and also
He does not look younger. What are you talking?
He looks like
He looks
he looks like he's in his
mid-30s.
40s.
He looks
I
like
would
he's
say
in his 50s. I don't know what you're talking about.
I would argue.
He
Okay,
would have a lot more
I
gray
would-
hair.
No,
if he was
the
in his
lack of
50s.
gray on his hair and beard puts him in his 40s for me as well.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He looks
So-
like he's in his 40s.
He also has the very
So-
unfortunate fact that his immortality kicked in just as his hairline had already started to recede.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
permanently
kind
got
of
the fucking
funny.
peak.
Hold up.
You know, it started when he was shot in the back of the head as Lincoln.
No, it started when he was started when he was a caveman, but
No, yeah, I know. He's basically got the Vandal Savage backstory, but good.
yeah, he's literally good Vandal Savage.
Her explanation, it's not completely off. She made it all more about a time thing when that all of her duplicates added up would add up to the same amount of time. When it's like,
Well, bear in mind,
maybe,
it's not
maybe
just
off
that, it's-
screen.
she experiences them. They're like
Yeah,
the
no, I was going to
narrative
say
does.
if she more pointed out the experience of death, that would make that I was more prepared for that than if you add up all the time, then we're basically the same age. It's like from
Well, she doesn't use that. She doesn't use that really as a front argument. She uses it as defense when Rex is yelling at her
yeah.
to be like, "Why the fuck are you dating such an old fuck?" Slur, you ready?
And then
Yep.
because on the experience, on the nature of experiencing death, that makes way more sense. Because yeah, Duplicate has experienced death in so many fucking ways.
We literally
'Cause
seen her die
she
like
be-
30 times in season 1.
'Cause-
We've
'cause-
Oh,
done
she
it-
dies like freaking 30 times a fight.
yeah.
Yeah, because her clones, like she feels everything as we've
Yeah.
Yeah, she feels everything in real time, including working out.
Yeah.
including
something?
working out or when Immortal is
Or
dicking
getting
her
worked
down.
out. Oh. Well,
I-
it actually happens in season 1 too, where like she's trying to like, "Oh, Eve, you're back from the funeral early," and like in the middle she goes, like she like gasps for a second,
Yeah, because Rex is,
fucking her in the kitchen, literally 2 feet behind her.
yeah.
Talk about self-motivation, by the way, is she's working out and other duplicates are going like, "You've got this."
Right.
2 more
Do it.
sets.
Too.
It's like
I mean,
thanks
if
me.
I could duplicate myself, I would never be alone.
Gross. Gross.
Why?
I don't think that's
You know,
what he meant.
that's not what I meant.
Masturbation? Is it homo or is it just
That's
sex?
not what I meant, Wyatt. I mean,
Okay.
I meant that, I meant quite literally, I would not be alone. Like literally.
Yeah.
Because you'd
The-
be too busy
this-
fucking your
this-
cloud.
Why would I do that? That's fucking gay.
The Sleepy Cabin talks about this. One of the guys is like, "Oh yeah, I just if I had like a bunch of guys myself, I'd be like, hey, you wanna go to Wawa's later?" I say, "Yeah, sure, I want to go to Wawa's. You want to watch One Punch Man? Yeah, let's go watch One Punch Man." It's just
Yeah,
me.
that'd be me. It's like, it'd be like, hey.
Meanwhile, I
wanna watch-
subscribe to the Lyle McDouchebag thing. It's like if you had a clone, you'd get her tits.
How long?
I mean, if I could make a female clone of myself, well then.
See?
I don't know. I don't know. I find myself hideous. So, but anyway, that's besides the point. Duplicate and Immortal are together. I think it's really interesting, and it plays a big. I wouldn't say big, but it plays like a nice little side content to like the entire series, or to the entire season, I should say, not series. Well, we'll see. But that's
Hey,
that's
as
to what
Wisp, how do I put down my fucking seed things again?
I don't remember. You have to hold the button, I think. You tap it to switch between them, and then you hold it to do the thing. So
One day I will learn to actually use Mace's abilities properly other than her ult, but it is not this day. This day I hit Y.
you press her A and then press Y, and then when you see something big coming up, you hit her A again, and then you shoot with the Y button, and it does a billion more damage.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't. I
Now
meant
I'm
more.
cooking
I
this
don't
shit.
understand what the X and B
Okay, can you give me
do.
some speed, buddy?
Yeah, more speed. I got
More
the
speed,
big sword.
More speed. More speed.
No, I don't. I don't understand what the X
Gotta go
and B
fast.
do.
Gotta go fast.
Holy shit!
Gotta go faster. Wait, so you got a speed boost on
Hold
top
on,
of your R.
I'll
on
actually
top of your
give
On top of
Sarah
my
something
on top of my
to-
top of my normal speed, Kaiju. On top of my melee weapon, which gives me
Well,
more
he has a
speed.
name.
On top of my assault rifle, which gives me more speed.
Meanwhile, I'm just gonna impale people on spikes and then
But
drain.
speaking
and then drain
of
their
impaling
blood.
people on spikes, we get yes, we talked about anime thing. We talked about the duplicate thing with her and Rex. Rex also being like she has to basically explain everything piecemeal to Rex because Rex is a fucking asshole, which you gotta love him.
Yeah.
But he gets really good play in this season as well. It's pretty good.
I did think his old conversation with Bulletproof felt a little bit forced, but
That felt
him
weird.
like just not having the tact to like go along with fucking Mark Zuckerberg, the human man hero, and just being like, "Where are you from?" Like,
That-
actually, though,
Yeah, well, because he's just. He says he's from that he's just a normal human.
I was
from
born here
born
on
here.
Earth, a
As
human
I was born
baby.
human
baby.
baby.
And then, and even fucking Immortal and Rudy looked at each other. It's just like
What the fuck?
this guy's clearly lying.
This guy's from space.
This guy's insane, right? What's going on here?
Like, I can't tell if he's just a really bad liar or if he's deliberately trying to
When he
make
could
us
have
think
just-
he's an alien.
When he could have just said, "I am also a Martian," he could have skipped.
I am a Martian.
I am a
I am
Martian.
a Martian.
Dr. Hot.
Rudy, Immortal.
Sturgeon. Anyway, so yeah, we get the introduction to Makeshift, who is totally a normal person, who is a completely normal person, right? We can all agree
Yeah.
on that. Not
Little
suspicious
regular
at all.
old human
All the
man.
Martians totally aren't all dead.
Well, it's interesting they keep flashing back to the Sequid thing, isn't it? Huh.
Yeah,
Anyway,
funny that.
oh shit. Sorry, I just sent myself a kilometer off the ledge. What else
Speak
we got?
English.
No. I sent myself 60,000 burgers off the edge.
Ah, I understand now.
I understood that reference.
We get a nice little bit with so there's the two bits with Mark kind of like trying to do his best kind of deal, where we get the sidekick of
Darkwing.
Fuck.
Of Nightwing.
It's Darkwing Duck. That's his name. His name's
I'm
Darkwing Duck.
sorry, Darkwing. Totally not
It's-
Batman.
Well, you say that
Oh,
when
Robin.
even I've seen that fucking. Even I've seen that little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I mentioned that into the group chat once before, but I really love that. It's like, hey man, I said I felt that. I didn't say it hurt.
Yeah.
And there's like also a nice little bit where it's like he's talking to Cecil on the headset. He's like, "You can hear him too." He goes, "What?" The voices. And then like immediately Mark is like, "Okay, all right, dude. You need to come with me."
I
You need to-
I want to talk about how like when Mark wants to actually be scary, he can pull it off.
But the thing is,
He's also going through some shit, so
yeah.
when something like starts breaking down that wall, it's like, dude, you do not want to push me. Not this fucking week.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like when the Maulers like make us, he's like, "You have no idea how much I wanted you here." Say that.
Yeah, and we got to
And,
see. We forgot to bring up with all the variants. We got to see Lady Mauler twins. Or
Wood.
Yeah, the
Mauler.
Maulet.
Wood.
yeah.
Wood.
As
Also,
like
the Maulet seems to be paired up with the like hyper manly bearded Mauler, which implies that one of them is trans, and we don't know which.
No, it's a different dimension. Shut up. But
Well, I mean, I hear it's not gay, so
God damn it. Anyways, but yeah, Mark trying to do his best to be a good boy and stuff like that. Taking in dealing with Doc Seismic. I love that. It's like I can push it out.
don't.
Do
What
not
was your name? Professor
that.
Seismic? Doc
Doc
Seismic.
Seismic.
I never
I
taught.
never
I
taught.
never thought.
That like that is like bar for bar a fucking Venture Brothers joke.
Yeah. Like every time he shows up, I feel like I'm watching a completely different show for a moment.
That's why I love him. He's so
Well,
hilarious.
that and the Lizard League are also
way-
fucking
the way he
copy-pasted
moves-
out of Venture Bros.
Like also like almost borderline in animation or just the way they play it off because of the way Doc Seismic's eyes move as well as he's trying to explain something. Is like I never taught. Is he's like doing that cartoon half squinting.
That's why, but I love their relationship too. It's so funny. It's like
I kind of liked
like-
you when you
it's like
just
an-
hated presidents.
well, it's like from that episode where it's like, man, all of these one-liners sound terrible. It's like that's how you get ahead in life. Yeah, see, it's not there for me yet. He goes, no complaints from me. Like I love their like interactions. It's so good.
Well, that actually kind of touches on one of the notes I had, which is just this section of the story in the comic. I remember this whole part of the story, like the picking up the pieces after like the fight, being very somber, very serious. This is funnier than I remember being, like consistent.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
I
some-
would
For me, it's
imagine.
like pretty grim.
I would
right up until you
imagine
get
they
back
did
to
that
Al.
on purpose.
Well, okay, so all right. I guess we could just get into. I could get into it now, but a little bit of the meta knowledge. This, if you couldn't tell already from the differences, well, I mean, if you know, but this series is very different from the comics in a lot of ways, and that's because the author wanted to change certain things that, like, he couldn't do from back in the day.
Which is interesting because the Invincible comic's not even that old, is it? Like it's only
not
like
that- It's not super old.
it's almost like no, didn't it come out in 2003?
I think it was 2000. I thought it was 2001, but I could be wrong. It's been a minute.
So it's like 20 years old.
it's
I
definitely
just
younger
remember
than The
it
Walking
was
Dead
started
because it's
in
the
the
same
early 2000s.
author,
Yeah.
Robert Kirkman.
Which is there's going to be a reference to Walking Dead later, which I think is hilarious. But the way that the story is going, I'm not going to point out differences yet because obviously it's fucking spoilers. But the way they're doing it is vastly different from the way they did it in the comics, and that's on purpose because Invincible, they've said this in an interview, that Invincible has the potential to go past where it ends in the comics.
Oh, okay.
Depending on how
Interesting.
That's interesting considering how the comic ended.
Well,
Yeah.
God damn it. It ended in a way that could leave it open for more stories to be told. Let's say that.
True, but like it like that last line from the Mark
I
says.
know. But at the same time, though, like they could still do something special, or they could just end it there because where it ended in the comics is still far away from where we are here. Like, it's
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh, we are
that's
years.
That's if
years
we
apart.
even do, that's if we even do some of the other stuff with the adaptation. Like if we do basically the reboots, where Mark.
Mark
I
goes
think
back-
they'll touch on it, but I do think they'll trim a fair bit of it.
Like
That's
when Mark
way
goes
in the
back
future.
in time.
They already have. So I don't want to get into it yet because we haven't finished the season, but they have trimmed some things down. Some people are complaining because it's different from the comics, but I still think it's a solid show.
That's
didn't wanna
not
bring
an
it up.
argument on its own.
Yeah, I know exactly. I didn't want to bring it up yet because I want to see what you guys think of it fully. But
Well,
you know what I mean. It is the argument of adaptation that we like dread because people who see adaptations can't see anything else, and that's just
well,
what
it's
it
why
is.
I got.
Adaptation-wise, I love the pacing that we've got so far.
I-
think they're
I'm
moving through
enjoying-
things really well. They balanced it well.
So the title screen, I gotta talk about this. The fact that it's showing the Invincible, but the the word is black in the backgrounds of the darker blue. It's like, oh, the blue on black suit. Because anyone who remembers that fucking bit in the comics, oh boy, if they keep this up, we're in for a treat.
That actually is another thing I made a note of. The fights this season,
The choreography has become so much
consistently
better.
fucking good.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
choreography in season
the
1
animation
was.
turns up.
I don't want to say they were awful, but like
It was very basic. It was very basic unless Omni-Man was on the screen.
Yeah,
Like-
outside of like the major fights, like
It
the
didn't help
big
that some of
top
the-
ones,
I wouldn't even
a lot
say-
of
I
the
wouldn't
fights
even
are very
It
basic.
didn't
I
help
wouldn't even
that
say the
some of
major
the fights.
I'd actually just say everything that didn't have Omni-Man was actually kind of mid. Everything with Omni-Man was really good.
It didn't help that some of the fight scenes in season 1 were, filled with stock sound effects and sound effects that Max and I recognize from fucking YouTube poops.
Well, that was just
Well,
the one.
there
that
was
just
one fight in
There
the
was a-
episodes we
there was
saw
a
that had
couple of
stock
them.
sound effects, and we loved it.
Yeah.
The squeaky toy on the
Yeah.
monster.
Yeah,
Well, 'cause that
the angler.
did a really good that did a good payoff though.
Yeah, and how it uses that squeaker.
I hate this timeline. Also, Aquarius' wife is single. I love this timeline. Okay. We'll have to check that video out once we finish the season 1 and season 2 abridged that this one guy did. It's fucking good content. But yeah. So we get once again Invincible. No, okay. This is a point I want to point out because it pays off later. There is a bit where Cecil is telling Mark to abandon the Atlanteans, and he pushes them to basically let these people just fuck off and die. However, Mark refuses and goes in after Cecil compares him to his father.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you're
just-
not your father. You follow orders, and he goes like, "Yeah, I'm not my father. That's why I'm gonna go in and save people." And
Well,
that's
no,
where you
not the
start to
Atlanteans,
see.
the aliens, the alien bugs people.
Yeah, well, we see that later. But I just want to point it out because there's multiple times where Cecil tells Mark to do something that we can probably agree isn't exactly the best thing to do, and Mark will say no to it. And Cecil, frustratingly, will be happy that Mark did it.
yeah, he got
That's what,
like as he
Yeah.
points out when he comes out of the ocean. It's like, you got lucky, kid, but next time follow orders.
yeah. And then with the
Well, this is
fucking
kind of
thing-
like Cecil's dilemma because on one hand, he is glad and he is reassured that Mark will make choices to save people and will value people's lives, but at the same time, the fact that he's going against orders, the fact that Cecil doesn't have absolute control, is scary as fuck.
Yeah,
So
like
he
not
has to
having
balance that.
not having control bugs the shit out of him.
Well, especially when
Yeah.
it's another Viltrumite.
yeah. Oh yeah. Boy. Oh
Well,
boy.
yeah, because the last
might-
time a Viltrumite went up against like how much was that satellite and it didn't even scratch him.
$1.3 billion, and all we did was give him a bloody nose.
Yeah. And so yeah, for Cecil, it's we love that Mark makes good choices. We're very happy that he values people's lives. But what if one day he doesn't? We
Yeah, that's
can't
why-
do anything about it.
That's why he like when they found out the sound of the sea creature, they're
Well-
like, bring that over to R&D.
Well, that is actually a callback to season 1. Because do you remember when they had that vial of Mark's blood?
Yes.
They were looking for any weakness
Yeah.
against not Mark, but Viltrumites. Because once again,
Exactly.
Cecil is somebody who's looking at the big picture.
Yeah, that's what
And-
makes him such a great character.
And man, oh man, it comes back. So
Yeah.
hold on to that. Hold on
I
to
would-
that because
I
we'll
would
come back
love like a
this
bottle,
season.
like a bottle episode where it is just Cecil, MCU Fury, and DCEU Waller, and Cecil's just verbally ripping them apart. It's like, why'd you let this? You said you'd give the Skrulls a home, and then you just didn't do it.
And then Nick Fury is just like, motherfucker, that wasn't me, that was a scroll.
Oh god, and we're not doing this again. But
So when you look through all of the things Nick Fury did, and Cecil's just looking at us like, so why do you even work here? You don't actually do anything. It's always the scroll.
And then just
meanwhile,
looking at
Cecil, like, because go back to season 1, Cecil's literally putting his own life in danger. How
Yeah.
many people? How many normal people would stand up and talk shit to Omni Man?
Yeah, it's like one straight for the throat. I wouldn't be.
Oh, we were friends, man.
No, what was the was like you
Oh,
put
when
my
he throws
balls in my throat?
when he throws the rock at him, he's like, "Whew, gotta say, I've faced death many times, but not many times it has my balls on my throat."
Yeah, the first teleport is like right for the throat. I thought we were friends.
Well, and there's another thing too, is that like he's out of breath because he's actually fucking scared. He's actually afraid
Yeah.
for his life.
Yeah, because every time he's using that teleporter, didn't they say like how much it costs for like per use?
No, not amounts to the cost per use. It's just not precise. But once again, he has to teleport before Omni Man hits him.
Yeah,
Like he has
and to the point that
the
when
guy
he does
who can
the
grab Red Rush, he has to out fucking speed him.
and then when he sends the big shockwave and he just barely escapes, that burned it out for a minute.
Oh well, that's because it was just
Yeah, it
a
was
giant fucking kaiju.
overuse. Yeah.
But that just showed that Cecil was running out of options really quickly to stop Omni Man, and I keep hinting at it, but oh boy, it comes back in one of my favorite moments in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so yeah.
The SOS club.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a-
yeah, that's
It's
So I've heard differing things about how people reacted to Green Ghost's husband's reaction to.
I liked the subversive nature of it.
Because
I mean, like,
it's
was it
complicated.
subversive?
Here's the thing. That's why the show feels so human. Because how would you react? You don't know how you would react in that situation. It's
Yeah,
fucked.
and
It is
there's
We have a
insanely
real
horrible.
world analog of this as well. It's like the victims of serial or the survivors of like serial killer victims.
Mhm.
Like more often than not, whoever was that serial killer was just a member of that community before. That's why they were getting away with it for so long.
yeah, and then
And that
Mhm.
person would have had friends, colleagues, co-workers,
Mhm.
and those people all get looked at sideways after.
Yeah.
yeah, and then as it was brought up, it's like you probably shouldn't come back to the group because, yeah,
Wouldn't be safe.
one she broke the first rule of it, which
He
was
did it. He did it first, though.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, he did that assuming that her husband was dead and not the fucking guy who murdered
caused it
half
all.
of Chicago
Yeah.
and the fucking Avenger League.
the
Like-
Guardians of the the globe.
Guardians of the League avenged.
The Guardians of
Fantastic-
America.
The Fantastic Nun. Oh no, too soon. So yeah, people have said that it felt too harsh. I kind of agree. It is a little,
I mean, it is
Horrible.
harsh,
It's-
and
it's
is
harsh,
too
but it's
harsh,
real.
he's justified.
but it's
Yeah.
yes, exactly. It's real.
Like we can acknowledge that he's acting like
Just because
not perfectly because of his emotions, and then also acknowledge that yeah, that's a very understandable way for him to react.
it's why one of
People
my
like that don't act ideally.
it's why one of my favorite scenes from like The Boys is the similar one where they go to that hero support group, the people who have been injured by soups, and it's like no, there totally would be people like Butcher, for example, and in this case there would be people that would be like Green Ghost's husband or partner.
Well, I don't know about Butcher because Butcher was one of the guys. Who
There are
went there
people
to be a
that just
dick.
would fucking hate soups, like no matter what
Oh,
they
okay.
did. Like
I
it,
thought you were saying that people would go to the AA meeting just to make fun of the people who were in AA. It's like,
no, I'm
oh.
more talking about the
'Cause
point.
that's what he.
getting,
That's what he.
the
That's what
point he was
did.
getting
Like,
across to Huey was like, you're going to this, and like now, like how do you think these people would feel knowing you killed one?
Mhm.
Like, because there would just be people like him where it's like, yeah, they're like that would be more angry than trying to actually be supportive. Because then the second that somebody tried to get him to open up, he was like, no, fuck you. It's that.
I mean, there's
it's that-
multiple things being communicated in that scene where
Yeah.
Butcher is like the devil on Huey's shoulder, where he's like, no, fuck this trying to deal with the healthily bullshit. That doesn't get them killed, which is what we
Exactly.
want.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I've seen some people criticize it, but like honestly, I feel like it's
I
a
very
really,
much
really-
appreciated those scenes. It is real. There just would be like your more stereotypical story that's a bit shit would just be like, no, I understand, and I forgive you.
I feel
And it's just
for
like,
you and all
no,
that shit.
a lot of other, like, no, the reality of it would just be, go fuck yourself. You were married to that monster? Fuck you.
Or at the
And
very
like,
least,
and
just walk away
that's
without saying anything.
and as I say, and that's the kind of the horrible thing about it too, because we know that she's also been lied to. Like it's
Yeah,
nothing. She's in the same
one of the
boat as
lines of it was
everybody
like,
else.
I didn't know, you should have.
Yeah,
That is also a thing that has been said to the survivors of serial killers.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck could you not know? You either knew or you didn't care. Fuck you. And this is the thing. We can judge the guy as a person. This depends on what the criticism is. We can criticize him for how he acted. But writing-wise, for him to have acted that way in the story is
It's
just
very
good
consistent.
shit. Because if he was the kind of person who could have like this fucking enlightened Buddhist outlook on it, he wouldn't need to go to a fucking support group.
Exactly.
He would have been emotionally healed.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Very astute.
I've always I always appreciate like those support group, that trope when it's done right. I've just there's just again been so many instances of it being fucked up.
Is it weird that for some reason I was expecting his wife to be the Wonder Woman clone?
Sure.
War Woman.
Yeah.
Didn't she have a partner already?
No, it's
don't
implied
know.
that it's implied that she's a dyke, and that's the fucking joke. But we don't know. The only one we've
Wait, was it a joke? I just thought like in
And
the
then
first
with-
episode when she's
No, in
summoned,
the first
that person
first-
she was with was like a
Well,
partner.
no, the first one that she's talking to is a business partner. It's not her fucking wife. They're
And
talking
then,
about like the business that War Woman is running, and she's basically fucking over the business to help people.
Yeah.
Very, like I said, very classic thing. It's like, no, we sell at cost kind of thing to basically make the medicine like free for people.
Yeah.
It's like, you already do enough to save the world. It's like, yes, I don't do. Well, I don't. That's the problem. I don't do enough. Like I said, there's a lot of like, weirdly enough, the Guardians of the Globe, even though they're in one episode and like for about collectively like 5 minutes in the first season, they get a lot of characterization, especially Red Rush. I like Red Rush's like the
Red Rush, and then I forgot what the woman's name is.
You don't understand.
Olga.
Every single
Olga.
second is misery. I feel every moment of it. But with you, it's magic. I love. See, like I said, I love that little bit.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It was a very nice save on his
And
part.
very much dealing with what most speedsters would do, because I think it was an
I'm not
episode of
talking about-
Justice League where it's like, like Flash is like, while they're just having this simple conversation, it's been like 45 minutes for Flash.
Yeah.
Well, that was a parody. They don't really bring that up in the comics as often because it kind of sucks when you think about it.
Also, the Flash can slow down to move at normal speed, so he doesn't do that all the time.
Yeah. I was about to say, like there's moments where, like especially the Justice comic, where Superman knows that he has to have a quick conversation, so he does it with the only person who can do it, and they basically enter the Speed Force to talk, which is
that's
Crisis Infinite Earth is. I do appreciate that was like a little thing that
that
Oliver
was
Berry did.
also a moment in Young Justice where Wally and Flash were talking about it, and it's like it turns out they're speaking at super speed.
Yeah. I don't know anything about speed though. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean,
don't know
like
what
I feel you, Max. You're pretty
Wait,
slow.
Wait, you said Sonic's my favorite character? What are you talking about?
Not only
No, I
Sonic,
thought-
his fucking edgy clone.
Edgy clone.
I thought Rouge the Bat. I thought
Hey, that
Rouge
is the
Bat
ultimate
was your
life
favorite
form,
character.
motherfucker.
He's faster than Sonic. He's faster than Sonic. What?
I thought Rouge the Bat was your.
Stop.
I mean, she's
not-
with. I mean, I am Shadow. First of all, I'm Shadow. Second of all, you're not Shadow.
Omega,
Third of all, you
count
wanna be
every
Shadow.
grain of
You can't be
sand
Shadow
here.
because I'm Shadow. All right,
Diamonds aren't green, dick
Dick
nips.
tips.
Omega, count every grain of sand here. All right, 1, 2. What
Why
have
the
you done?
Fuck would you make him do that?
We're gonna be here for
Omega.
hours.
Omega, how many mouths he has? Okay. That's right, bitch. You ain't got no mouths.
Does anyone have any more talking points about?
Well, we got to talk about the big one, but I was getting to it. Alan, Alan gets a. It's weird how it works because I was like, wait, that wasn't the end of the episode, but the credits roll when Alan's story ends for that episode. By the way, did you notice
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
That
I
was a
did.
nice
Yeah,
little
because it was
touch.
the end of the Ellen show.
It was down the Alan show, but
Oop.
Alan gets
When Optimus Prime turned off his life support.
Oh well, there is a very direct power set that you could compare Alan the Alien to, and I won't get into it till it happens. But
Yeah,
There
but
is-
yeah, it's so fucking directly comparable.
it's so there, except for Alan's a way cooler character. But we'll get there. But yeah, we get a little bit of the coalition of planets, which is what Alan worked for from the first season. So we get like,
And then
the
we got
actual-
that amazing callback to the fucking picking the wrong planet. It's like, hey, if it saves the universe, is it still the wrong planet? Yes.
Yes, it's still a mistake.
And then just hearing Peter Cullen be sounding.
I mentioned
old
it while we
makes
were
me
watching the episode. It's gonna be insanely tragic when he dies in real life.
He just
The
sounds
meme of
so
Optimus
angry.
Prime dying will no longer be a meme.
It's tragic, like because he still gives a stunning performance. Like he commands the fucking.
But we
scene when
can
he
fucking
speaks.
hear it in
But
his
you can-
voice.
It's kind of like the Darth Vader thing, where you can kind of hear him. Like it's like, man, you're getting old, dog.
All right, well, James Earl Jones, you really heard the age. At least with Peter Cullen, he like.
I mean,
He's-
I don't
he's
know.
He was
I
also
don't know,
sound-
man.
playing a much older character as well, so we didn't really like clock it as
Yeah.
bad.
That's fair.
Like, he's
Whereas, like in
playing
Rogue
very
One,
older.
Anakin is supposed to be like what in his 40s.
not Rogue One, the Obi-Wan show, because that's when they just started using AI.
Yeah, that's the
Well,
AI
no,
James
Rogue,
Earl Jones
Rogue
voice.
One was the one that everybody talked about.
Yeah, where like you had very old sounding Vader, where it's like even though he's supposed to be in his 40s
Yeah.
at that point.
No,
he's in his. Wouldn't he be? No, that was,
He
no,
was,
wait, no,
he was
19
20.
years.
He was 25 when he got in the suit. 19 years, 18 to 19 years passed during the Dark Times.
So he's like 44, 45.
Yes.
Somewhere around there.
And then
Okay.
he was like somewhere in his 50s by the time he died, because the Galactic Civil War, upon the destruction of the Death Star, took about 4 years, and then 3 more after that, after the destruction of the second Death Star, when the Imperial Remnant was finally surrendered.
And speaking of
Okay.
surrendering, there was a planet that when Alan gets back to the coalition that just joined their coalition, but was attacked by the Viltrumites, which was basically confirmation that there's a mole in their coalition.
Yep.
And so that is
Yep,
a whole
and
other
he was
side.
tasked with finding them.
Yep. And the second he was tasked with finding them, oh no, the Viltrumites popped up and beat our boy brutally half to death.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like,
dude,
it
that
is-
scene was fucking gnarly.
It's
Yeah,
it is probably the worst beatdown in the series. Like
yeah, and
Flat out.
but
counting the fucking beatdown that was the entire last episode of season 1.
I don't know. It's gonna take a bit to.
Motherfucker,
top-
he had his eye popped out. He was still watching, and as they ripped his fucking arm off, it was fucking brutal.
Yeah, and Mark was used as a fucking like a train stop.
Yeah, but he like was fine after that physically.
Yeah, well, that's
Okay.
why I was.
It was the most brutal beatdown, as in, I think it's like the hardest that anyone's ever been disassembled, other than
without
some of the
dying.
people who've gone up against fucking Omni-Man, where they just get splattered.
Yeah, without dying. Let's put that caveat
That
on
yeah,
there.
but in terms of most brutal like fight, what happens during the end of season 1, from what we've seen so far, that's still the top for me.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Also, the hands that Battle Beast put on Mark, that was also pretty. fucking
yeah,
bad.
when like he turned his midsection into fucking jello.
Turned his entire internal organ structure to a milkshake.
And
Yeah.
then licked the blood,
thought
which
this-
probably
I
which
thought
probably-
I thought this planet had worthy warriors. Killing weaklings serves no honor.
And then just fucking leaves.
It just fucking
Yeah.
refuses to elaborate, lose.
yeah, the by Worf. I hardly knew thee.
Don't worry.
So like, wait a minute.
Come
So
back.
so
I know
is-
he comes back.
It's pretty
So
fucking
question
raw,
is
too.
is Optimus Prime like the one?
He's the mole.
I don't. It's the No, no, like, well, no, because I
Optimus
know
Prime
there's
is the leader of the Autobots. So
well, no, because like I don't know how heavy we want to go into like spoilers for later in the story.
Well, we
don't
probably
go
shouldn't.
don't go into spoilers. How about that?
Okay. Then I'll just I just won't ask my question
Like,
then, because it
that-
does it is.
What we've
it
done
is
in spoilers was we basically have only touched like surface level stuff,
Jake,
like
Jake,
with the
I have
title
a feeling
card.
I know. But Jake, I have a feeling I know what you're asking about. It is revealed this season, but we haven't seen it. Yet.
Okay. All right.
So with
just wait.
Okay.
and
With
then
the-
also,
with the end of
I love
episode-
the narrator that just basically is like, oh, let's check in with these people, like as everybody's
Oh, no.
fucking.
Everybody's fucking.
Yeah,
No,
Mark's
no, on my
getting
behalf.
played.
When there's a
Al-
fucking-
Alan's getting tentacled.
Alan's getting laid in the second that like, oh, tentacles. Maybe we should
Maybe we
oh,
should,
let's look at this cat, and the cat starts licking itself.
Yeah, and it has a cloaca and an asshole.
Anyway, enough of that. So, a little quick tidbit about Rudy. Rudy gets some character development too here as well.
Yes, since he's now
we made the joke. Hey, be patient with me. I'm autistic.
Yeah,
he is
yeah.
very autistic. Like
he went from
Learning
remote
how to be a
controlling.
person.
He went from remote controlling the suit to now he's basically in an Iron Man suit of his robot.
like
and
he's
it's
Goblin
fucking-
Slayer autistic.
But like once again, I feel like it's fair because of what he was.
Oh yeah, Oh god, and speaking of Rudy, the fucking like biggest burn in the entire season is like, someday you will die. Well, not even the entire season, of just what we've heard so far. Someday you will die. True, but you should have died at birth.
I love how like casual Omni-Man is, and it's like, oh, we're just casually committing genocide. It's whatever.
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I'll die.
During
You should
Angstrom Levy's like
Like
basically
heartfelt
walk.
speech, like you're going to die. It's like, fuck this motherfucker. I'm hungry. Shut the
There's
fuck up, dude.
during Angstrom Levy's, like, we see little bits and pieces of him going through the multiverse, and we see a version of Mark that's locked in the Pentagon, and we see like, oh yeah, like they
Female
eventually
Donald
did
and
kill Omni-Man, and they took
At
down
the
Mark
cost
because
of,
of
at the cost of Europe, by the way.
yeah, and they eventually they got Mark because it's like, yeah, I eventually had to go to sleep.
Yeah, they just wore him down until he had to go to sleep, and then they just got him.
And I love that the person asking, he's like, interesting. They wore you down was fucking Angstrom Levy.
Yeah, and it's like, who are you?
Put a pin in that. We're not done with that.
Like, who are you and what are you doing? It's like, oh, don't worry about me. I'm going. Hey, you
Oh,
said
yeah,
you'd help me.
Torture this bitch because this guy's an asshole.
As he's basically in the new 52 Superman contraption.
Even female Cecil was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm not a threat to you. Who are you a threat to?"
It's like very, very interesting choice of words there. So yeah, with that,
we get to the end of episode 3, and we get this beautiful setup with like, oh, this alien, he's asking for Mark's help, and like once again, Cecil is like, "Don't go," and he goes, "Fuck you, Cecil," and Cecil very begrudgingly says, "Damn it, you fucking kid." We get to the planet. We get to meet the God Emperor of their planet, and it's Omni-Man.
Omni-Man.
It's Nolan, yeah.
I really appreciate the way the next episode begins too. But yeah, that's. What
Oh
we'll save
yeah,
for next week.
I watched that little montage. It's like, wow, yeah.
Well, no, not just even that. I'm talking about like what happens between Mark and Omni-Man right there.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's very well done, but we'll get there when we get there. But for now, yeah, that's the first 3 episodes. That's the first 3 episodes. You got Jake. It's me and Slur who's only seen it, right? So it's Jake and Wyatt.
Yeah.
So you guys are liking it so far?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah. I'm enjoying
to
it
be-
more than season 1.
And yeah,
That's
I
interesting.
I'm very much enjoying the progression this has had since season 1. They listened to a lot of feedback and have been making a lot of changes. Like the Amber one is probably the most appreciated because, oh my god, I just like such a
I've said this
fucking
outside
cunt.
of like recording, but it's just like it's so weird. And I'm not like saying you're wrong to think that way. Everybody has the same impression of Amber after the first season, but like
It's that episode.
it's that one episode, and it's just
It
because
tarnished
it
her
happens at
entire
such a
fucking
crucial
character.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's she had like this. It's almost like it's one bad moment has made everyone hate her fucking guts. Before that episode, everyone thought she was a perfectly fine character. in line with
There
the
was
rest of
the
show.
there was the other moment where it's like the school where they were attacked, and he ran off to fight the thing, and she was just like, "You just ran
That's
off."
the episode.
Yeah, it's
I
the
thought
episode.
I thought that was a separate
That's
episode.
the same episode.
That's the
Yeah,
same episode. Yeah.
It's one episode that ruins everyone's opinion of her.
Yeah,
So
Which,
all
you
they
know-
had to do is just
'Cause
not
she's
do that
just a
again,
cunt.
and she was good. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
'cause-
that
yeah,
one
yeah.
episode ruined her.
Yeah, and then this season they're like not overcorrecting, but they're correcting it like hard majorly.
I say they're overcorrecting.
I'd
Like,
say it's an overcorrection on how like drastic she's changed.
like
but-
she.
Is it that drastic though? Because
Well,
okay, let's say
because-
you never saw the episode where she
Well-
acted like a bitch, and you look at how she acted before that. She had her own priorities. She had her own shit going on, and
I mean,
she still does. She
so-
was a supportive, flirty, girlfriendy type to Mark. She was very actively interested in pursuing a relationship with him, and still is. Like, I think it feels like an overcorrection because her reputation after season 1 just got to fester and simmer for so long that we have it built up in our heads that she was a cunt for way longer than she ever was.
Well, but the problem is, sir, I know what you're saying, and yeah, I do agree with you that before that she was fine. It's the problem of that that reveal is because it's in that because actually it isn't the whole episode. It's actually 2 episodes. Because
Yeah,
the
that's what I
beginning-
thought.
It's the beginning of the next episode.
Yeah,
But
and then also
is-
when
it
she
is-
tries
it
to
is
comfort
her-
Mark, she was like, "I guess we were both lied to." And it's
Because
like, what?
I've had this discussion with other people before, but it's the way she handles like it's the way it's the way she's written to handle with the reveal. It is handled so coarsely that it seems like she is completely out of character, and that's why everybody hates it. Because the point of her like him leaving was to save his best friend. Like, there's no fucking way on the planet anyone would react in the way of like, oh, but you left me, when they know
then-
the fucking truth. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And
Like,
then
what Slur says, Slur's 100% right. That one episode, that little bit, just completely ruins her character.
Yeah, 100%. It's just like, ah, I see now. I see I see you for who you really are.
Exactly. So that's the issue. Like I said, Slur's right, but that's just what it is. We'll get more on her a little bit more because like I feel like her development's there, but it's not as strong until later.
Yeah.
But we'll
'Cause-
get there when we get there.
Because yeah, the like all it takes like for like even in of it being feeling real, all it takes is one shitty moment to like basically fuck someone's character over, or just their like what you perceive to be their character. All it took was that one fucking moment for me to hate Amber. Like
You
that's
and
what it-
everyone else.
well, and then there's the meta shit about it, where we would talk about it, and then we'd be called ists or phobes because she just happened to be black in this adaptation.
Yeah, but those people don't fucking count because even they realize that Amber was
Yeah.
shitty. Like they don't matter.
Yeah, no,
Cannot
we don't.
factor into your analysis the mentally ill people of fucking Twitter.
Yeah, like at the like
Exactly.
yeah, they don't
Well,
they
it's 'cause
don't
Twitter's
matter.
not
Or
real.
Well, no,
Yeah,
that's because those people aren't people.
So with that,
Yeah,
unless
is true.
anyone's got any finishing points, anyone?
Excuse me.
No,
Hmm.
everything I had written down, I covered.
And everything I had written down is covered. So.
Let's see. Do I have anything?
So the tentacles on
No.
Alan's girlfriend. How do we feel about
No.
I mean, like, oh,
All right,
actually, you know what? I
uh,
don't like. Why does all alien food have to be fucking gross?
I don't
Yeah.
understand that trope either. Like, especially with it still being alive. It being gross is one thing. Why is it always still alive? Because surely, whatever she was eating, it was actively eating his food. So it's like, why? That's inhumane as shit. Fucking kill it. Because we eat animal brains here on Earth. We don't still eat cow brains while it's still in the cow. While it's
But
still
there
moving.
are there are some foods where the thing is still alive when you eat it.
It's
and we-
rare. It's rarer than you might think. And there was also just that one weird Korean bitch who just kept eating live octopuses on the stream.
Yeah,
and
and-
it
that
was
was a
fucking
thing.
gross.
And yes, there are like Japanese street foods where it's like where the shrimp are still alive, but like you don't eat them while they're alive. You shake the box until all the shrimp are dead.
No, well, there's also live frog sashimi where you eat a frog's guts while it's still alive.
That's like, but
What the
that's not
fuck?
that's not something that like we the normal people on this earth like experience all the time.
There's also a Chinese dish where you dip live baby mice in like a sauce and eat them.
They're in a
Okay, that's
backwards
not a
fucking
dish.
country.
That's just weird Chinese people eating mice. That's yeah. Don't make that sound like it's an actual food.
Like yeah, in like if you want to talk about like in Vietnam, they don't eat hard-boiled eggs. They still have the embryos inside them. Yeah,
That's also China.
Yeah. The point I was still making is like it's not still alive. Is still the point. It's a bit fucked because it's like, man, you waited till this thing was actually mostly formed before eating it. But it's like that's
Gotta
not the-
get that extra protein and calcium for the bones.
Stop.
I mean,
Uh,
all of that shit was technically in there because that's how eggs work.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
It's just in this case it's like why do we have this weird trope in sci-fi that all the food is just basically still alive, even the little
Because they
worms,
want to make the
Allens.
food look as alien and as weird as possible, so they get freaky with it.
Ugh.
That's all it is.
It can still look alien and delicious. I'm just saying.
Tila's food was eating Alan's food.
Yeah.
It's still alive then. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can make food look alien and weird, but also still make it look good.
And also,
try.
do you really want your food like actively fighting you as you're eating it? Like that was the
I mean,
problem I had
maybe.
like the Mandalorian when they went to the planet that Bo-Katan was on, and they're eating that weird alien slop with octopuses, and it's like it's still actively wriggling as she's slurping it down. It's like that thing's still gonna be moving around in your stomach. I'd be surprised if you weren't gonna puke 5 minutes later. So yeah, that's
I mean,
that's all
isn't that
we-
a thing people have with like the living thing where if you swallow it, you can possibly still feel it moving around?
Okay.
Ah,
Okay. All right. Let's end.
Trying to escape.
Okay, bye everybody. We'll see y'all next week. Enjoy more of the Outer Wilds playthrough we're doing. Bye bye.
RAR XD.